Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast.
From Eldora Speedway, it's the Global Sim Racing Channel's Round 9 coverage of the CSI Shocks Spring Season Championship. The last time the Wing 410 sprint cars were the weapon of choice was Round 6 at Knoxville, when fans were introduced to Alex Bergeron, who debuted with an impressive performance, earning the max 115 points that included fastest in qualifying, a heat win to go along with an A-main victory. Last round at Charlotte, there was yet another outstanding debut as the motorsports engineering major Craig Swartz won the day. But while the Johnny-come-latelys have caught the attention of fans and pundits alike, it is the Camarillo Cannonball, Brennan Rodgers, who sits atop the points with a comfortable margin over early season point leader Aidan Perdue. With only this round and 3 more remaining on the schedule for those with championship hopes, desperate times call for desperate measures, which should make for an entertaining broadcast. And you can see all the simulated dirt track action, the heats, the semis, and A-main live as it happens right here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. From the Buckeye State, hello and welcome. Joe Peak joins yours truly, Bill Soupson, way up the press box to bring you our bird's eye view. John Crackers Ambrose has director duties armed with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Joe, for dirt track fans, Eldora has always been well known, but its familiarity really increased when NASCAR started bringing its truck series here.
Absolutely, Bill, and it probably goes without saying that this might be the most famous dirt track on iRacing currently. With more than 60 years of history and currently the only dirt round on the NASCAR truck schedule, this place has stayed incredibly relevant to the American racing scene. Not a bad feat for a half-mile dirt oval dirt oval in the era of multi-million-dollar contracts and corporate racing teams. But even though this place is a big deal to dirt racers and offers some big prizes in its premier events, it still retains that down-home local track feel. The only thing that to me makes this track seem larger than life is when you race it. 24 degrees of variable banking and a wide track surface makes this a wicked fast dirt track. Put the 410 winged sprint car on it, and it's not for the faint-hearted. Granted, here in the sim, it's a little easier to keep your foot planted without life or limb on the line. The G-forces in the real thing would certainly create pause for most of our competitors. Ultimately, I'm glad we're not sacrificing body parts and bodywork for the thrill and the fun, but get ready for a wild one with the drivers needing to bring their A-game, Bill.
And our field's a little smaller tonight than usual, but a lot of the big names are here. Our point leaders, Aidan, Perdue, Alex Bergeron is here as well. He's very good. And, of course, the Camarillo Cannonball, Brendan Rodgers. Let's go ahead and take a look at the points right now. Keep in mind that these point standings take into account the 2 drop races allowed for in the rules. And to put it simply, it's the driver's best 6 of 8 results. While newcomers have demanded much of the attention of late, there has been no movement in the top 5. Brendan Rodgers continues his undefeated streak in the heats. Aidan Perdue tries to stay in touch. Now, Chance Crum has been extremely consistent and actually leads Rodgers in total points. But, of course, you don't get to count everything you raced. You have to drop your 2 worst events. Cory Day has a feature win, and Chad Wheeler joins Crum as drivers still looking for an A-main trophy. There is another thing we'd like to look at, and that is the Hard Charger Award. This is by Clausen, brought to you by Clausen Marshall. Take a look at that one there. You can see that Bryce Lucius picks up a spot now in sole possession of the top spot. There is a big log jam for second. Kobe Sidham, who is very exciting to watch. Chad Wheeler, who sits 5th in the points, and Jonathan Schafer. They're all tied for that second position. And then Chance Crum, also who's in the top 5 in the overall points, sits down there in 3rd. All right, we're always picking up new viewers because it's a very popular series. Joe, how about some series details?
Absolutely. You can see we are running the 410 winged sprint car. This is the big boys. This is the fastest sprint car with wings that you can run here on the iRacing service. The good news is they've got a fixed setup, as they always do every week. That means you really don't need to fret too much about trying to get the car set up and find speed out of that. You just need to get in and learn how to drive it. Now, as we mentioned, they've got a format where you go from heats that determine how they line up in the semifinals, and then the semifinals determines who makes it to the A-main, the finale of today. They've also got $2,000 in cash and prizes on the line for this series, Bill, so a lot to play for.
You talked about the fixed setups. That really does not play into the advantage of last round's winner, Craig Swartz, who is a motorsports engineering major. Boy, that sounds fun. Hey, qualifying just getting underway. Now, you know, qualifying is not only important for where they sit in the grid, but there's also a prize that is presented by the Competition Suspension Inc. You get yourself a Pit Logic Quick Time Award for starting on the grid. What you get is a Pit Logic is the most comprehensive chassis and shock setup application on the market, available on Google Play or on the Apple App Store. Check them out at competitionsuspension.com/CSI-Logic-app. I hope you got that. All right, let's see how they fill up the grid.
Right now, Brendan Rodgers is our fastest of the 2 laps that he's run. He's just finishing his 3rd one now, and that actually goes even faster, a 13.653. These are going to be incredibly quick laps around. You basically put your foot down and point the car. It's all about your line. It's a lot less about the right foot modulation.
And of course, where they qualify will determine what heat they will play into. We're looking there at Matt Moore.
Yeah, his second lap's going to be his fastest, a 13.858. At the moment, it looks like Rodgers has about half a tenth over Logan Rumsey, which doesn't seem too big or too small. That's about what I would expect.
Lap times of about in between 13 and 14 seconds. Well, really about 13 and a half if you're putting in a good one. Christopher Townsend, that's not going to work for him.
Certainly not. just waiting on Evan Spalding to start his qualifying run. They got plenty of time with how short the laps are. Otherwise, I believe... Alex Bergeron just puts in a time just now. He's got pole position just like that.
13.618. Nipping Brendan Rodgers by about 3/100ths of a second. A name that we did not talk about, he's already got his qualifying in, Logan Rumsey. He's always quick.
Spalding just set his second lap, which is his fastest. 14 flat for him. That moves him up to 21st on the timing sheet. This is going to be his last time around that will count at least. He can continue to warm up if he so chooses.
Spalding has a reputation of coming and getting that qualifying into the very end. He likes to take a few deep breaths before he gets out there.
So he and Crum are out there just basically running around. I found it interesting, Bill, in the warm-up, we didn't really see a lot of drivers out there running. And like I said, it's actually pretty easy to get in these cars and put your foot down and just start rifling off laps. It's not like we saw last week where they can be kind of tricky. The wings on these things just keep you stuck to the ground. So I kind of wonder if that's the reason we're seeing a lot fewer drivers out there and continuing to run and put in laps just because it's easy. And the only downside to that, and the thing that I would advise against that and would recommend more drivers get out and practice, is the big definer is going to be how you run in a pack here, Bill. How you handle drivers around you finding a place to run.
We're looking there at Evan Spalding. Him and Chance Crum. We were looking at Chance Crum a little while ago. Chance Crum, 21 years old, out of Snohomish, Washington, a city I do not know.
I've never heard of that. Glad to have the Northwest represented, though.
Qualifying just about done. They're just getting in their practice time.
I think we have at least...
At 7th.
I think we have at least one more new driver. I see Lauren Emig in here from Pennsylvania. I'm not sure. I don't recall seeing that name before so far.
Boy, I have been burned so many times. I just don't
Just use they. Just use they.
Take a gamble on.
Very simple, Bill.
Okay. Okay.
It saves you hassle.
See the sun beginning to set here in the Buckeye State.
And actually right next to the Hoosier State as well, Bill. Looks like qualifying's over.
And with that done, let's go ahead and tell you what's happening now. It's going to be our first heat. And as always, that is sponsored by Joe's Racing Products. Joe's Racing Products designs and manufactures quality and innovative race products in the USA. You want to find out more about them? joesracing.com. What's our grid, Joe?
Alex Bergeron coming back after his bad run last week and starting on the pole of this first heat. Corey Day will be next to him. Then you got Chance Crum starting third. And the outside of row 2 has Colton Collins. Row 3 inside will be Dustin Davidson, Bryce Lucius on the outside. P7 has Cannon Posey with Grayson Springer next to him. And then Ryan Mitchell will round out a 9-car field for this first one.
Boy, this heat is heavily stacked with both Crum and Day sitting in the top 5. And, of course, Bergeron always a threat to win this thing. Our small fields means that we won't have our full slate of heat races. That could be as many as 5. I believe we're only having 3 here today. The top 2, though, will advance.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing right now. 3 heats, and then we go to the semis. And as always, we'll probably be filling up to a 16-car field for the finale.
I think they got the algebra down. All right, we'll get the pace car underway, and then we'll try to get going here. See, the sun has been setting. It's been getting darker and darker. But the good news is the lights are going to be coming on. And we will have some beautiful night racing here at Eldora. A unique dynamic of this racetrack compared to the other ones that we've been on. They grid them up in pit lane, which is kind of nice, rather than out on the track, which we usually have seen before. Now they start to roll. So let's drill down a little bit on the drivers in this one. Alex Bergeron, he's raced in 3 events. He won his first one, but things have been tough for him as of late. He has real-world experience as he drives in the real world, sponsored by CSI. Cory Day, very, very consistent on the outside of him in the number 10 car. The guy to watch out for, Chance Crum, inside of row 2. Bryce Lucius in that yellow machine back there. He's our hard charger. As Bryce blinks away. Come on back, Bryce.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have more of those problems. That was a serious issue last week. One of the drivers, unfortunately, coming in and out, making it very hard to race them as close as you need to here on the dirt side of things.
Now Lucius is back. Bryce, of course, the 12-year-old. Out of Fidley.
Green, green, green.
The Ohio driver. Time to go racing. Bergeron jumps out into the lead. He goes high. That's going to open the door underneath. Is the momentum there for Day? No, but he puts up a fight.
Once this track starts slicking off, it'll be about exploring around, seeing what lines will give you the most. And you can see Bergeron right now seems to be doing pretty well with the top side, but he's going to try the low line just to see if that gives him anything more.
Day pretty consistent in second, trying to get underneath Bergeron. The white car back there is Chance Crum looking away. Look at that. Day had it for a minute. Slides up in front of Bergeron. Bergeron fights back. Boy, there's some good swapping of positions up in the front.
Yeah, the problem with coming in like that and trying to slide up high, coming off the corner, you could see Bergeron easily he saw it coming, it was telegraphed, he ducked down low and got it right back. These two are pretty evenly matched up front.
Dustin Davidson gets loose, he gets into Cannon Posey. Posey does a pirouette. That youngster's day is done. Colton Collins is now up into 4th position, but not in the hunt. The real excitement is up front between Day and Bergeron. Oh, it's Bergeron at the line that time, but only by a half car length.
And don't forget, that's Chance Crum behind them as well in the white car. If these two start to tangle, he could sneak a heat win.
That
Just
time
like
Day
that.
has the advantage. Now they work lap number 7.
They really do not need to be fighting this hard, to be honest. The first or second, you're getting to the A main from here. So if I were them, I would probably settle down a little bit and just kind of take the victory.
That time it was Bergeron. Now they race for the final time around. Bergeron out in front. Let's see if Cory Day makes a stab at it. He's too far back. Let's give the heat win to Alex Bergeron. Cory Day gets second. Sorry, Chance Crum, you're going to have to do it in one of the semis.
Yeah, he finishes 3rd. Colton Collins manages 4th. Dustin Davidson, P5. Bryce Lucius in 6th. Looks like his connection held out. Ryan Mitchell 7th. Grayson Springer 8th. And then Cannon Posey, unfortunately, having a bit of a bad day. He DNFs.
The second of our 3 heats comes your way thanks to Factor 1 chassis. Factor 1 micro sprint chassis. Well, let me tell you, they've been providing an unfair advantage for over 30 years. For more information, factor1racing.com.
So even though Brennan Rodgers got pipped to the overall pole, he will start at the front here, Heat 2. Matt Kaiser will be next to him in 2nd place with Colin Mitchell starting row 2. Outside belongs to Brandon McCollum. Kobe Stidham will be P5, Preston Perlmutter in 6th, Christopher Townsend 7th, and Hunter Brady for only 8 cars in this one.
Brendan Rodgers has been perfect in heat races all this season, has yet to be beat. 7 out of 7. Of course, he did miss the first event. The driver to watch is the guy who's been your hard charger all season long. He's racing in the number 3, Kobe Stidham. And he's got some cars to get around as he's starting in 5th. Preston Perlmutter back there. He's been a veteran of the series. We've watched him the entire time. In 42.
Sort of amusing, Bill, that last week in the cars that had covered wheels, we saw probably a lot more beating and banging and cars getting turned around, whereas here it seemed relatively calm between them.
Absolutely. Very, very true. All right, the truck is in. We go race. Look at the jump from Rodgers. He's long gone, but the battle is for second. Stealing the spot is Colin Mitchell. The momentum from the white car up top, that's Kaiser, but he's going to have to sit into 3rd.
I don't think he's going to settle for this, though. He's already looking ahead, knowing he needs to get to second place. Real action is in the back, and actually I think we got a big tangle. I spoke too soon. Looks like Townsend and a few other cars got involved with that. I think Perlmutter as well.
Townsend was on his lid. He has the car going. He will not be an issue for these drivers as they come around. They get the cars cleared off. Rodgers has it comfortable. The battle is for the transfer plot. Colin Mitchell and Matt Kaiser, and now peeking his nose in there. The hard charger, I told him to watch, number 3, Kobe Sidham.
Stidham's getting awful close to the back of Kaiser. So that 05 needs to start looking backwards. And look at that, takes it deep into the corner. But I'm not sure if he's going to have the momentum coming off. No, he slides up and he cuts him off. That was nice strategic movement by Stidham.
Sidham perhaps not the best qualifier, but boy, that guy knows how to race. Now he sets the sight on Collins Mitchell. All this going on behind Brendan Rodgers, who's a whole second plus on Mitchell. Little chatter coming over. The people not too crazy about that one.
I'm not sure that those are the drivers that were even racing right now.
It's a Posey maker. Look at this dive for second. Sidham is there. Can he hold it? He gets to the line first. Yes. Now, will he have the outside line? Will he make it work? Great battle for second. That's Colin Mitchell underneath. We are working lap number 8. Here we go. Rodgers comes around. He's going to get the win. The battle is for second. And it's the hard charger from California. Kobe Sidham gets the advance. Sorry, bad luck for Collins Mitchell. Back half of your grid, Matt Kaiser, Hunter Brady, Brandon McCullum, 7th and 8th. Go to as my timing and scoring corrected itself there. See if I can give you the rest of that. Preston Perlmutter and Christopher Bell. Sorry, wrong Christopher. Christopher Townsend. All right, let's go ahead and talk now about heat number 3. This one's coming your way thanks to WR1 Sims. Built by racers for racers, WR1 Sims are the choice of industry professionals like Kyle Larson. And there's the Christopher Bell I was talking about. WheelerMetals.com.
Looks like Logan Rumsey is going to be in first with Jonathan Schafer in second. Matt Moore starts P3. Lauren Emig will be fourth. Heath Smith starts P5. Aidan Perdue 6th. Evan Spalding 7th. And then last of the field will be Jet Barnes.
There we go. A lot of people coming over the track, asking some people to be a little quiet out there. All right. While the chatter continues amongst the drivers, let's go ahead and tell you what's going on the track. Logan Rumsey, we talked about him. He was our 3rd fastest qualifier, sits on the pole here for this 3rd heat. Jonathan Schafer on the outside of him. Big names here has got to be the 37 of Aidan Perdue. He's got some work to do. Aidan starting on the outside of row 3.
Green, green,
We
green.
go racing.
Looked like a good jump at first for Rumsey, but already Schafer is trying to hustle that car into the first corner to see if he could take this battle to him. Can't quite get beside him, but he's still got a number of laps to try and do something.
Drivers get together in the back. That included Evan Spalding and Heath Smith. That allows Aidan Perdue now to get around them. He's still in 6th, though. Has a long way to go. Up front, Rumsey, Schafer, and Moore.
If I was Schafer, I'd be sweating a little bit because knowing that Moore is back there and he's going to be eager to try and get up into that transfer spot, he's probably going to be making more aggressive moves. And look at this. He's going to try and get himself safe up into first so that he doesn't have to worry about it.
Oh! Lap cars in front. They get together there. That losing the spot is Heath Smith. Now, Heath Smith was a lap down. Everybody keeps going. Schafer out in front. Rumsey now has fallen to second.
Still Moore hanging back there. He's going to try and cut down low, see if he can get the shot off the corner. Just not enough there. The track is really slicking up all over it.
So now Rumsey has some work to do. The collision with the back marker has left Jonathan Schafer up by almost a second. He works lap number 6. Watch out for Matt Moore. He's in the white car. He likes to take the car around high and then get a great dive off the corner. Doesn't do it that time. Watch him out of 2. He takes the car really wide, then he gets a great run down here to the inside, and here he comes, but he runs out of steam before he gets to 3.
It looks like Schafer's got this one on a string at this point. White flag is out. All he's got to do is cruise home.
Jager's going to have a comfortable time of it. The real battle is for second. Once again, Moore takes a dive down. Schafer gets the win. Moore puts Rumsey in the wall, and Moore is going to get second.
Oof. That won't go down well. So Emig is going to get 3rd. Perdue will be 4th. Jet Barnes P5. Evan Spalding 6th. Logan Rumsey 7th. And then, as we mentioned, Smith, unfortunately, DNF'd.
Matt 4, Mace racing out of Oklahoma City. Not sure how that plays in Oklahoma, but here in California, well, you're not going to get a beer after the race. All right, I believe it is time for one of our semis now. So let's go ahead and look at that. This is the Allgaier Performance Parts semi number 1. Your one-stop shop for everything high performance in the Midwest. Check them out on Facebook. Joe?
Chance Crumb's going to be starting up top. Lauren Emig will be P2. Then you've got Matt Kaiser in 3rd and Dustin Davidson in 4th. Row 3 has Jet Barnes to the inside. Brandon McCullough starts 6th. Ryan Mitchell starts 7th. Logan Rumsey 8th. And 9th goes to Christopher Townsend.
You saw there the difference between this and the heat races are we're going to go 10 laps instead of 8. You saw that we talked about the top 2 advancing. That's really not the case. We're going to advance the top 5 here out of this one and one more semi. So that means 5 plus 5 is 10, plus the 6 that came from each of the 3 heats, or the 2 that came from each of the 3 heats, gets us a total of 16 in the final.
So 5 are going to be advancing in this one. That means that with 9 cars racing, you've got about half the field leaving here, Bill. It's really going to be about just managing the race and not doing anything silly. If you find yourself a little farther in the back, try to make calculated moves, get up there, but don't let too many laps slip by.
Dustin Davidson, Indy number 29, got involved in some contact in his heat race. He never really had a chance to put up much of a fight. He sits outside of row 2. Right now, he is in the transfer spot. On the bubble, Jet Barnes in that white number 55. Brandon McCullum outside of row 3, looking to pick up 1 spot. Best place to do it would be on the start. This and one more semi, and then we go to the A main. The truck is in, and they go racing.
3 wide for second place right away. And unfortunately, it looks like Emig is going to come out the worst of it, getting tipped all the way to last place.
Kaiser made a little contact with the driver in second. More contact back there on that is Kaiser again, making contact with Dustin Davidson.
And this is for some of those transfer spots, Bill. Again, 5th place is the last one. So Townsend, who currently sits in 6th at the tail of this group, is desperately trying to get something done here. And unfortunately, Davidson and Townsend come together. That sets him even farther back, and now he's fighting with Brandon McCullough.
Oh,
we got a car.
Rumsey gets together. He was racing in second with Jet Barnes. Barnes is on his lid. He had a... Rumsey is going to continue. Rumsey was the driver that got hit last time and punched out of the transfer position. Look at this battle back here. This is Townsend on the top side. Davidson higher behind him. The car on the low side trying to make it work. That is McCullum.
Townsend's all out of shape. He went way too high. He clipped the wall, and he managed to bring it back. Credit to him on that. The high line, I would think, is probably a little faster now as he tips. Oh, there goes McCullough.
McCullough was in a great spot to advance. He's on his side, vulturing the transfer position now as the driver in last, Ryan Mitchell. They work lap 7. Whew, hard to catch our breath on this one. Chance Crum way out in front by 2 seconds. back. Kaiser safe in second.
Fascinating to see how much more aggressive it's gotten here in the semi when a lot more is on the line. These drivers who don't make it, they're done now.
There's Kaiser. A little farther back from Kaiser is Logan Rumsey as they work the white flag lap. There will be a battle for 4th and 5th, but both of those are going to transfer. Meanwhile, coming out of the final corner, getting the win, Chance Crum. Kaiser, Rumsey goes 2nd and 3rd. Townsend gets the best of Davidson. There's the 5 that advance, Joe.
Ryan Mitchell is going to have to wash up, and he's the last driver on the lead lap. Lauren Emick finishes 7th, with 8th going to Brandon McCullough, and Jet Barnes, we saw, wound up on his lid in 9th.
The first of our 2 semis is out of the way, and now we go to the second one. And this is coming your way thanks to Sharp Advantage, specializing in customizing racing safety products of the highest quality. SharpAdvantageSafetyProducts.com. Joe.
Colin Mitchell up at the front, trying to make it into the big show. Colton Collins next to him in P2. That's going to confuse you, Bill. Aidan Perdue starts 3rd with Hunter Brady in P4. Bryce Lucius starts 5th, the last transfer spot here in this one. Evan Spalding, P6. Preston Perlmutter, 7th. Grayson Springer, 8th. Heath Smith, 9th. And Cannon Posey, 10th. This is going to be the biggest field we've seen so far out on track at once.
It's like a Wheel of Fortune puzzle. Colton Collins Mitchell. I can handle it because I'm a professional. Number 68. Mitchell in the preferred position. Collins outside of him. Perdue sits 2nd in the points. Aidan back there in that fluorescent blue and yellow machine. Has not had the kind of race, event that we're used to from him. Hunter Brady outside of him. And the yellow car continues to blink for me, but now he's back. Bryce Lucius, one of our hard chargers.
Just be glad you didn't commentate F1 in the 90s when they had Martin Brundle and Mark Blundell on the same F1 team for a while.
That's not fair. Okay, once again, 10 laps, 5 will advance. And then we get to what you all came for, the feature race. 30 laps with yellow flags. Pace car is in.
Green, green, green.
Mitchell gets the jump and he gets loose, and that's going to open the door for who else? Well, none other than Aidan Perdue. Perdue out in front. Mitchell and Collins now.
A few different lines happening. Oh, we had a big net code in the back, and Evan Spalding gets turned around. Thankfully, doesn't hit the wall.
Spalding got bounced. More cars getting into trouble. Going around is Grayson Springer.
So right now, Preston Perlmutter is the last one to advance. And behind him, good news for him is it's a battle between Posey and Lucius.
Back up front. Continue to look at Aidan Perdue. Things were going his way early.
Colin Mitchell into the wall, and now he gets hit too. That's Perlmutter who got him. Perlmutter goes back to 5th. He had gained a position. Mitchell now out of it, despite being in 2nd place half a lap ago.
Cannon Posey just puts it to the wall. He was in 4th. That moves Perlmutter now up into 5th, and I think Posey now in trouble of losing that spot. Back to Collins Mitchell as they're only halfway done.
Perdue is absolutely romping away with this thing. He's got a 2-second lead on a 13-second lap, Bill.
The front 3 are all comfortable. Perlmutter actually comfortably in 4th now. The question is, can Cannon Posey, the youngster, hang on to it as Colin Mitchell starts to run him down? Remember, Mitchell started on the pole. Gotta hurry.
I don't think Mitchell's got enough in him to try and run him down at this point.
Hunter Brady gonna transfer in 2nd as well. There you look at our leader.
They've honestly all separated out by quite a bit. Posey and Perlmutter are the closest at about a second apart.
That one looks pretty comfortable as well. Uh-oh, Preston Perlmutter's had an issue. He's pulled it off to the wall. As we're on the white flag lap, Cannon Posey now moves up into fourth. Mitchell gets fifth. Perdue gets the win. Brady, Collins, Posey, and wait a minute, nope. Perlmutter, I guess, is going to get credited with, no. This time let's get it official. 2 laps.
I think he's going to manage to get it. I'm seeing Perdue taking it,
No.
Brady second, Collins third, Posey fourth, and Perlmutter P5. Colin Mitchell finishes sixth, 2 laps down. Grayson Springer seventh, Bryce Lucius eighth, Spalding ninth, and Heath Smith did not start the race. Bill?
Interesting enough, I'm just going Perlmutter also 2 laps down, so I guess there was some issue in this. He was the best of all the cars that didn't get all the laps in. Never advance, which is not the case for Mitchell, Springer, Lucius, and Spalding. We go to the final event, what you're here for, the A Main, the feature. Brought to you by Hergot Real Estate Group, serving the greater Indianapolis area. They specialize in helping racers find that home or shop of their dreams. Joe?
So up on the pole for this one, it is going to be Alex Bergeron. No surprise there. Brennan Rodgers, who looked pretty strong, starts on the outside of him. Jonathan Schafer will be third, with Corey Day starting fourth. Kobe Stidham P5, and then Matt Moore starts in sixth. Chance Crum will be seventh, and then eighth, Bill, will be Aidan Perdue. He's well down the order.
Death Row has Matt Kaiser and Hunter Brady. Logan Rumsey, who's had a rough day of it. He's fast, but man, he has been mistreated out there. He'll be in 11th. In 12th is Colton Collins. Christopher Townsend and the youngster Cannon Posey go 13th and 14th. The final field is populated by another driver that's been beat up, Dustin Davidson, and Grayson Springer is all ribbons and curls in the Sweet 16 spot. Double check here. I believe we have 30 laps of racing on tap today.
Indeed we do. Going to be a little bit shorter. It's a slightly longer track, but very, very quick laps. So this one's going to go by fast.
There will be yellow flags, but we're not going to have any of those. We're going to have 30 laps of green
You'll
flag
have
racing.
to bring it up. You just cursed us, Bill.
Green, green, green.
Ah, no, we're good this time. Alex Bergeron, gather up the chickens and cover me on the cows because he leads the stampede down into the first corner. Brendan Rodgers in second. Schafer in third, but now it is Corey Day getting underneath him for third position. But
Corey
Schafer
really
gets
threaded the needle.
into the wall as he's going to lose more spots as he got pushed up by Matt Moore, who races in fifth. Now in fourth is Kobe Stidham.
And all of that, no caution, and Schaefer's down to ninth, but he's losing connection really bad. He keeps blinking. We got a car around and a big accident. Cannon Posey in the midst of it. I believe this started when Posey tipped into Colton Collins.
He did. He took the low line in and just couldn't get it rolled up. Collins keeps going. Posey goes around. He got collected by Christopher Townsend. And also getting into the mix was Dustin Davidson, who just cannot seem to get away from trouble today. So not a lot of change up front. Your pole sitter, Alex Bergeron, still in front. Your points leader, Brennan Rodgers, in second. Corey Day has picked up a spot. He started in fourth, now racing in third, and up 2 spots is Matt Moore in fourth. Got to keep an eye always on Aidan Perdue. He started in eighth. He is up 2 spots now into sixth, still within shouting distance.
This has certainly ruffled some feathers, this race. Drivers seem to be pretty unhappy with one another. And surprisingly, I'm not seeing the track as slicked up as I expected it to be. I think part of it is that it's so wide out here. They're not really getting an opportunity to work one single line. And there's really, it's tough to see one single line be super advantageous so far. So not seeing too much of a racing line getting rubbered in quite yet.
lights are off the pace truck, so it will be pulling in, giving control over to Bergeron.
Green's out. Green flag. Green
He'll
flag.
be racing lap number 7. Diving down low, trying to take a peek at that spot. It's not going to get any momentum. That was Day, but he took a peek down there in the number 10, trying to get around Rodgers. Rodgers tries to do the same thing on Bergeron. That's not going to work.
Looks like Cannon Posey was involved in this one for a second time. And I see Grayson Springer on his lid. Yeah, those two tangled coming down out of turn 2.
Yeah. Posey again involved in a second incident. And now doing his best to try to turn the car over. He really needs to just take a tow, the youngster. Kind of gets the car off the track if possible.
And he's left. So
all right. So we are down 1 driver now, so we only have 15 left. Posey, being involved in both of those first yellow flags, has called it a day. Or a night. Bergeron, Rodgers, Day. 1, 2, 3. They didn't get to race for very long, so there wasn't a lot of changes since we talked about it last time.
yeah, there's still plenty left to go here. You can see we've got more than half the race left. So if we can get some green flag racing, I think we've got some good action on tap. It has looked like the higher line is mostly desirable because you've seen Bergeron and Rodgers running that. Even still, from what I've seen, the battling in the mid-pack, taking a hybrid line, trying a few things, experimenting, is still paying off. So expect to see drivers really spread out on this restart.
The big loser so far is Jonathan Schafer, who's down in 8th, setting up in 3rd. We go racing again, working lap number 11. Bergeron and Rodgers, 1-2, both on the high line. Day and Moore trying the middle line. Sedan back there in 5th.
They tried to
Perdue underneath them.
They tried to time the start and ended up getting into the back of Rodgers. Unfortunately, that set him back. He's recovered well, and even though he's got a little bit of more to hold off behind him, not too badly under threat.
The front 2 taking the top line, the next 3 trying the middle line. Now a different line from the driver in 3rd, and he dives it down low. That is Cory Day experimenting with some place to get around the 2 front runners.
It's Aidan Perdue as well in 6th. Remember, he's one of our championship contenders. He's trying a few different things around, trying to see if he can work his way farther out.
Another yellow, Davidson, I believe.
Let's see if I can find the incident. Yep. Well, it started ahead of him. It was Townsend and Springer who got into each other. Springer manages to get away before Townsend. His car gets turned sideways. Davidson's on a trajectory, and he just can't stop in time.
No way to avoid that one. Right across the nose of Townsend. Well, I guess this is good news for Bergeron, which we always say you can't get past while you're racing under yellow.
And his restarts have been pretty solid. No surprise there. I'm sure he's pretty used to it, running the World Championship stuff. Every once in a while having to make sure he gets a good run. And you see them kind of weaving around like that. That's not going to do the same as what you'd have with pavement cars. They're not trying to warm up the tires like that. That's just mostly Bergeron feeling out the car. Might even be messing around a little bit here, but you've got no reason to try and spin the tires like that.
Couple big names farther back. We talked about it. Let's go to the driver in 7th right now. Now, car number 91, that's Jonathan Schafer. He started on the inside of row 2, but has been pushed way back. And then another one to watch out for. He sits inside our top 5 in points. Chance Crum, car number 83, back in 8th. Lots of points to be made by those guys. As far as it goes between Rodgers really doesn't have to win as long as he finishes ahead of Perdue, which is what he's doing. Bergeron not really in the championship hunt. We go racing again. Bergeron working lap number 18. We've crossed the halfway mark.
Oof, Stidham made a really risky move coming out super shallow, almost got into Day, but avoided everybody. When he does it again, this time he almost gets into Matt Moore. He really seems to like that shallow entry down into turn 1. It's going to bite him if he keeps doing this, especially with so many cars around. Now he moves up to the high side. He looks a little better now.
Day loses a lot of momentum. Look at that. That blue car, that is Perdue. That's
and
a great
Schafer.
battle.
Sorry, Schafer almost got tangled with Crum, and somehow they come out the other side.
Big names back there. Rumsey tried to run down Perdue. We work lap number 22. Bergeron is comfortable. Rodgers, no threat. Day comfortable in third. The excitement is back in fourth, fifth, and sixth.
That's led by Stidham.
Yeah.
And Perdue's still in there. This is probably the worst I've seen Perdue struggling. Usually he is a front contender. And if he gets sent back, he catches up quick. It seems like today he just can't find much of an edge as he tries a crossover.
Moore tried to get underneath Stidham, lost all of his momentum, that opened the door for Perdue, who was there for a little while, but then Moore got it back. Rumsey back in 7th position, trying to make it all happen. Up front, absolutely nothing going on from those front 3. Bergeron, Rodgers, and Day all comfortable. But I'll tell you what, Joe, Kobe Stidham beginning to gain on Day.
I was noticing that too. Day looks like he's dropping back. He's lost ground on Rodgers. But now that Stidham is up behind him, he's not closing as quickly. He's kind of stalled out.
Boy, those 3 guys racing the high line right up along the wall.
This has been pretty aggressive in the mid-pack. Oh, and we might have a yellow because Matt Moore has turned around. And unfortunately, I think maybe he had too many incidents and is out of this race.
Yeah, what caused him to spin was the wall. He gets it there. Maybe that contact with that passing car might have been enough. So he blinks away into the Amelia Earhart Bar and Grill. Alex Bergeron, after a pretty good green flag run now, sits up in front. And my goodness, we are on lap number 29. That's the race.
You're right.
They go by fast, don't they?
Like
White
I said,
flag.
15-second laps.
White flag for Alex Bergeron. Brendan Rodgers will get 2nd. Perdue will have a good points day in 5th, but again, he'll lose more points to the man he's chasing in the standings. Cory Day, Kobe Stidham go 3rd and 4th. But after getting the win in his debut performance, he fell on hard luck. Did not do so well in this next 2. He comes back for a 4th time and picks up yet another win in the feature. I'm talking about Alex Bergeron, your winner here for round number 9 in the CSI Shocks Spring Season Championship. A good night of racing indeed. Well, the competition is over, but our broadcast is far from not. We'll take a short break. We'll come back, run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Back in a few. Streaming cyberspace into your place. This is the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the CSI Shocks Spring Season Championship. Round 9 here from Eldora. Let's give you the finishing order right now of the 16 drivers that made it to the main event. Getting the win is Alex Bergeron. A very good performance from him tonight. Brendan Rodgers, he'll get second place points, and it'll be a nice haul when they add it all up. Cory continues to be very impressive. He gets third. Hard Charger getting more points there is Kobe Sedan, comes home in fourth. Chasing Rodgers in the point is Aidan Perdue. I don't think he's going to be happy with the fifth place finish. Really quick was Logan Rumsey, sixth place, probably below where he deserved. Chance Crum, a similar fate in seventh. And finally, Joe, the last driver of the top half, Jonathan Schafer.
Hunter Brady winds up in ninth place with Grayson Springer rounding out the top 10. And it's Christopher Townsend in 11th and Colton Collins in 12th. The last driver to finish on the lead lap was Matt Kaiser. We had a number of drivers who DNF'd today. Matt Moore, 14th, Dustin Davidson, 15th, and Cannon Posey, 16th in the finale. Bill, and I think we got the winner ready to talk to.
We do. It's Alex Bergeron. Alex, after making your debut where you picked up a win, you were really strong. Bad luck found you the next couple times. It's good to see you back up front again. Things went better today.
Yeah, for sure. We had a lot of bad luck the last two races, but, we just came out strong tonight again, and, sprint cars are my favorite thing. So, we were fast all night, won qualifying, won the heat race, and, had a good lead for the future and just held on to it. So, awesome race. The top was fast. The middle line was kind of quick there at the beginning, but, it quickly went to the top, and I just used it to my advantage.
Yeah, I want to talk about the difference in cars. And, of course, this series cycles through all the different type of sprint cars we have, anywhere from the midgets to the unlimited modifieds that we use. Do you feel – I know you talked about, boy, I'm good in these sprint cars. Do you feel there's – what makes one better for you than, like, the midgets or the big modifieds?
Well, I just run the sprint cars more often. I'm running the World Championship Series, and I put all my work into that. So this helps me with that. But I'm good with everything else on dirt. Just not as fast as the sprint cars. I'd say just more time into the sprint cars, and I like the other cars too. I mean, I like everything on dirt. It's just so awesome to drive on iRacing here, and so realistic, and it's fun to drive everything on dirt for sure.
Well, the trick to staying out of trouble is staying up front, and that's what you did. Congratulations on the win. We'll see you down the road.
Yeah, thank you. And I got to thank all my partners as well. Newbie.com, Sign Kinees, BK Designs, Max McLaughlin Racing, CSI Shocks, Meyer Inc., Team ABR, and Jason Nygaard for the team. We do a lot of work, and my girlfriend as well. Thank you for all the support. My dad for watching tonight again, and, everybody else for supporting me.
What's the girlfriend's name? We'll get you out here on this one.
Rebecca.
All right. We'll give her a little love. All right. Good luck. We'll see you down the way.
Thank you.
Alex Bergeron gets the win today, and Rebecca is smiling. Joe?
And Brendan Rodgers, I imagine, is at least smiling a little bit because of second place, especially against the likes of Bergeron, is probably good enough. But it seemed like you didn't have too much of an eventful race there in the A main, Brendan. Once you guys got a green flag run going, you just were kind of on your lonesome.
Yeah, you guys got a call.
Yep, we got you.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, to run second to Bergeron in a wing 410 on this deal is you can pat yourself on the back and drink a beer after that one. So that's kind of going into this. I knew he was going to be an absolute freak show like he always is. I mean, he is so damn good. So I just knew if he's moving one way, maybe he's onto something. And the funniest part is just watching him even where he's putting his wing is different than everyone else. So you're kind of even looking at that, where he's choosing to cut the corner, where he's cheating it, where he's doing this, doing that, and he's just kind of an interesting driver to watch. So. To pick his brain a little bit or just to even watch where he's going, it was a good race to learn from, and not very eventful from my position, like you said, but just a real sweaty one, a lot to lose, and not, I'm not going to exactly pass Bergeron with a bunch of ease. So just one of those I had to hold on and try to collect those points.
Clearly, though, using your time alone to focus, so not too stressed out there on track. You mentioned watching his line, and he was talking about quickly going up to the high line. Were you surprised that we didn't see the track slick off a little bit more with these cars, or did you kind of expect the evolution to go as it did?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta get what you get. It started a little greener than I think a lot of the guys prefer, but it's one of those things, it's always that gamble. You don't want it to start too slick, because by the end it's not such a good race. So I get the idea of starting it a little tackier and giving everyone a shot at being competitive, but sometimes it's conducive to a good show, sometimes it's not. That's the game you play. And tonight it's tough. You're moving around this place so fast that unless there's that big, wide, slick area to really differentiate the drivers, you're just not going to see too much. So when you got a guy like Bergeron and little old me, who's just just that sliver off, you're just not going to see too much action. But I do want to mention Cory Day and a couple of those guys behind me. They are like Cory Day especially. I cannot say enough about how good he's been running, and he's been really picking it up, and it's cool to see guys like that. I know there's some other guys having some bad luck, like Aidan didn't have good luck, Matt Moore or some, like that sucks. So many of these guys are so good that it's surprising not to see them up front, especially like guys like Chance Crum, these types of guys that I can only imagine how frustrating it is, and like I say every week, just to get to race with these guys and guys like Alex, it's a privilege.
Well, I'm glad you guys are getting able to enjoy each other out there. Again, congratulations on a second. Said exactly what I was thinking. When you're up against Bergeron, not much you can do except just run your race. But congratulations. Hopefully we'll see you at Kokomo.
Yep, absolutely, and appreciate what you guys are doing. I know we got a lot of friends watching at home on the broadcast, and they like what you do, so can't.
Well, thank you very much. That was our second place finisher, Bill, and I think that's going to close things up.
Let's go ahead and thank the sponsors, especially our series sponsor, which is CSI Shocks, for making this broadcast a reality. On screen now are just some of the equipment and software used to stream Cyberspace into your place. June DeLon provides our iconic music. See the screen to how to get a hold of more of her great work. CSI Shocks spring season returns for round 10 in 1 week. That's going to be May 29th. As the Midgets return for a third time, and this time to Kokomo, who returns for a second time. GSRC will be there, and we hope you can join us. Sliding across your screen now are some of the upcoming broadcasts, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you want to find out more about us, I got options for you. GlobalSimRacingChannel.com. We got social media options. Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Gram. Also, if you haven't done so yet, why don't you become a YouTube subscriber by hitting that big red button? That way you won't miss a thing here from GSRC. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, that would be Joe, Sean, and Doug, we'd like to thank all of you for watching, as picking up his second win of the season was Alex Bergeron here at Eldora. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.